Opening my tea party just for you. Who is that? It's Ririna, the so-called anime enthusiast fox. It's time to react to more Arknights EP, and this one is Radiant. I believe it has to do with Neural, but I'm not entirely sure, so do let me know if I am right. I mean, I'm pretty sure it is, but you know, because Radiant, Night, obviously that'll always usually be Neural, but who knows. In any case, let's get started, and I can't wait to check it out.
Right from the start, had my head held high since it began.
Oh wow.
Just tell me, could you get it off? In the aftermath, oh, would you leave it all out on the table now? Before the dust settles down, 'cause right before the sunrise, I could see the fear in your eyes.
Yes, it is! Oh my gosh! I'm going to listen to it once and then I'm going to go through it again much slower and pause a lot more. Ooh, but this really feels like a song where you're rising up again even though you had once fallen. And I don't really know her backstory too well, just from all the snippets that I've heard from other people. But it feels like this is obviously in the point of view of Neural. And she's trying her best to rise again to the position that she was at. 'Cause she's at the top, right? From what I understand, especially in like the tournaments and whatnot. And I know that there are some higher ups who did not like Neural and what she represented. Or maybe it was someone else, I can't really recall off the top of my head, but the lyrics seem to at least indicate that there is some level of people who want to bring her down, mostly because she's always at the top. But she herself holds herself to a very high standard, which is why she keeps going forward without, you know, stopping. Even if she's down on the ground, she's gonna go up again and push forward. Also that, gosh, the visuals are so pretty. She literally is the light. Another thing that comes up in my head as I listen to this is the fact that there are some slow parts and then faster parts. And I think in some ways that actually makes me imagine her fighting in the tournament and then trying to obviously aim for the top. Whether the reason for her joining the tournament is for reasons beyond that a person might typically join a tournament for. Like, for example, fighting for the infected or things like that. But who knows? I'm not really sure. Okay, so I do want to go through it again, and obviously I'm going to be pausing this time and, you know, going forth like that. So let's start from the beginning. So there's actually very minimal instruments being used here along with the voice. And this beginning actually does remind me of a lot of older music, like pop music. Actually, I don't know if they're considered pop music, but they are at least mainstream for the most part. Those music where the beginning is slow before it starts getting like fast paced that most people really enjoy. And I wonder the reason why we don't have the lyrics here, and obviously it's black screen with no visuals, is because it's like right before a battle, like what she might be thinking before she goes into battle for like whether it's a tournament or an actual fight to the death kind of battle, where she's contemplating to herself about these thoughts. Plus there's the door opening, which, you know, pretty much, I guess, confirms the fact that it's probably before she enters the tournament and is now, you know, preparing for it.
I know you noticed right from the start. Had my head held high since it began. 'Cause I laid it out for them. Just tell me, could you get it off? In the aftermath, oh, would you leave it all out on the table now? Before the dust settles down. 'Cause right before the sunrise, I could see the fear in your eyes.
You can hear like a slight buildup going on, because in the beginning it was slow, obviously, and you can tell that she's very much contemplating things. And then after that, you can kind of hear like this buildup the moment the door opens, and then obviously starting from here to this point that we're pausing on, there's a buildup that the battle's going to start. That she's looking, whether it's her opponent or perhaps it's for the people that she's fighting for, the fear that they have in their eyes, as written in the lyrics. And that's why it says before the sunrise, which means indicating the start of a day, which obviously means the start of her battle, whether it's going to last for a full day or maybe not. And there we go, now you can hear the that part. Now the game has started. The fight has begun. You can definitely tell that with the whole extra layer that they just added in at this very moment, that things are going to hit the fan. Whether it's the battle or whether it's the conflict inside of them. And that's obviously something I don't really know for sure, but clearly her opponent thought that maybe they tried to sabotage her before the battle and they thought that she would be dead or not be able to make it to this fight, that they wouldn't be here right here and then. And that's why they were scared of her or had fear in their eyes when they did see her, that she was still there and that she's still going to fight no matter what. The only other thing that I could think of is that perhaps she fought so much without much rest that they thought that she would be tired by now, that she wouldn't be as tip-top shape as the first battle. That's just, but I'm leaning more towards the whole sabotage thing before the fight began. And that's what she was contemplating in the beginning, and then the buildup happens, and then this exciting, faster-paced song comes out. And now we have the whole full speed ahead, which means that she is not gonna stop. She is not gonna slow down. She is not gonna show any weakness. She's gonna keep going forth no matter what. And that's why we don't have to have any lyrics here, because she's literally fighting. When you're fighting, you don't really have much thoughts except focusing on the battle itself, at least. I think normal people would be like that. Obviously in anime it's like, oh, I'm having like, oh, my lifetime flashbacks right here in the single second as I'm fighting someone. And obviously it's not gonna be like that in real life. So I'm assuming that in this case, she's actually focused on the battle, trying to win, trying to focus on how to win this battle, while the opponent literally has no time to rest and can't think of anything. And that's why it's repeating full speed ahead, or at the very least, that's what I'm assuming is the whole thing. That's why she said that she's coming at the opponent like a bull, because literally they're fighting head to head and aren't going to stop until it ends. And that's even more reinforced with the whole repeating of the full speed ahead part, that literally she's focused on the fight. There's nothing else going on except for that. So clearly this also supports my idea that the opponent has sabotaged her, or at least tried to. So because, or whatever it is that happened, that's like an injustice. And so clearly she's going to see red, because why would you look at your opponent with happy eyes if they did something like that, you know? You'd probably be angry if anything, right? I mean, at least I would be. Maybe it's because I'm petty, I'm not really sure. But either way, it's clear that she's very passionate about this tournament, about this battle, and that's why she has fire in her eyes. And it says righteous because she's a righteous person, but not only that, it could also have to do with the fact that she might have experienced injustice in some way or form, or maybe someone close to her has experienced injustice, and that's why she is trying to do something that's righteous for whatever happened or whoever experienced the injustice, whether it's herself or another person. So here's another thing with the lyrics. It said that she's been reading the signs. So clearly it means that whatever sabotage happened, she knew it was gonna happen. So maybe it just shows that she's the type of person who's very prepared. Now, obviously, I'm not sure what the context is behind this particular event or wherever this song is describing or supporting. But it's clear that she's not just a righteous person who wants to help people. She's smart enough to see signs, to know how to prepare for such signs, and then use the situation to her advantage. She's clearly a warrior for that. Funnily enough, I actually think that for most characters that are like her, like a knight character with blonde hair who looks kind of either rigid or strict, or what would be the best way to put it? Like they follow rules no matter what. I feel like she is surprisingly not like that. Like, yes, she's righteous, but I don't think she's inflexible to the point that she can't, use someone's manipulation or actions to her and change it to her advantage. I feel like she's that kind of person rather than someone who ignores those signs and then continues to try to do the right thing. I think she tries to do the right thing, but the method is a lot more unorthodox, perhaps. Like, obviously, she will try to be righteous in her actions as much as possible, but if they're doing something that's injustice to either herself or other people around her, I don't think she has any issues with reading those signs and then going against it. Like, she's a lot more gray than white and black, black and white character. She's not really like that, or at least based on the song, it feels like that she's more of a gray character who tries to do the right thing, but she doesn't have any qualms with using that opponent to her advantage for whatever it is. And feeding into that fear is one way to go about it, because she is a warrior. She's a knight, I guess, but doesn't mean that knights don't fight messy when they're fighting. And that's why they're praying for her to turn around, because they know they can't win against her. So clearly she's so powerful that, it's obviously to the disadvantage of the opponent if she's there. And she's going full speed ahead towards her goal. I don't know what exactly her goal is, but she's not stopping. See, I've got trouble right here for you in my right hand. Clearly, she knows exactly what kind of strength she has, and she knows how to use it well. Just from the confident line of saying like, I have the holy light, I can basically beat you up. That's basically what she's saying. See, she knows her strength and she knows when her opponent is down, and she will use that situation to her advantage for her goal, and in this case, it's for the people that she's fighting for. She's not a naive knight who is righteous. She is someone who's experienced and knows what to do. And this is obviously the end of the fight, and they're probably enjoying their win, which is why obviously the visuals are bright, as if, you know, they're getting blessed by the heavens and, you know, blessed with something, some kind of blessing, holy blessing or something along those lines. And you can kind of hear like this echo and this, I guess, lack of instruments, which furthers the whole holiness of this particular part. There's more focuses on the vocals rather than the instruments. But obviously there's going to be a build-up with the drums and whatnot. And although we're starting to hear more instruments come in, the vocals are still very strong. And now that it's the end of the battle and they're basically celebrating, there's a lot more emphasis on the instruments. She's probably thinking about the whole battle and what happened. At least that's my interpretation of the repeat at the end with the instruments and with the melody at that part. So that's pretty much my analysis and guesses about what's going on Radiant, and obviously the context, potential context for this song. I don't really know how right or wrong I am. That's something that you can determine, my experienced players who are watching this video. I mean, obviously, it'd be great if I got it right, at least partially right, but who knows? At least you can enjoy and see what exactly I'm getting out of context and what I'm not, which is always a fun thing, I believe. I mean, it's not like I'm a composer or anything either, so it's always fun to guess, isn't it? In any case, my kids, what'd you think of today's video? I reacted to Radiant and made some pretty big guesses. I don't know if I'm right or wrong, but that's something that you can determine. So let's etch this into our memory and keep it safe. And as always, from the inviting you to my next tea party, the so-called anime enthusiast fox. Who's that? This was Dina. So until the next one then, bye.